guys, it's Paul here. Today I'm going to go over 5 of my favorite films that feature the Santa Monica Pier. Let's start by getting all of our ancient Mayan prophecies out of the way with the apocalyptic thriller 2012 starring John Cusack. This film gives you a great idea of what the end of the world might be like if Hollywood were in charge of its production. In the film 2012, the Santa Monica Pier actually takes a turn for the worst, and the pier can be seen sinking into the sea during the earthquake that rocks the west coast. A good portion of the pier did in fact sink into the sea during a storm in 1983, but the damages done in the movie seem a bit more extensive than what has ever happened in it. Next up is Night at the Roxbury, starring Chris Kattan and Will Ferrell. This film is about 2 brothers that'll do whatever it takes to get past the bouncer at the Roxbury. The Roxbury is actually a real nightclub in Los Angeles, and it has been notoriously difficult to get into since the 80s. The Santa Monica Pier makes its appearance, and the ratings get bumped up to a PG-13 when the 2 brothers walk down the Santa Monica Pier sporting matching black thongs. This dynamic duo was first a recurring sketch on SNL and known as the Roxbury Guys. This is not exactly a movie you'd take with you to a desert island, but this is one of those films that most people my age just know and are probably going to remember for a very long time. Next up is Dark Ride, the 2006 horror film starring Jamie Lynn Sigler and directed by Craig Singer. No relation between the two. In this film, 6 friends board this dark ride, and unfortunately for them, it happens to be the current hideout of a freshly escaped murdering psychopath. Oh no. This whole film takes place on the Santa Monica Pier, so again, while this isn't the best film of all time or anywhere near that, it's definitely still worth a mention because of how prominently the pier is displayed. Alright guys, next up we've got The Sting. This is definitely my personal favorite on this list, but the one coming up right after this is pretty good as well. The Sting was a 1973 classic film starring Paul Newman and Robert Redford as a pair of con artists going after a mob boss played by Robert Shaw. Now, Robert Shaw was that old cranky sailor who gets eaten towards the end of the original Jaws film, if you remember. Newman and Redford, who you both should know, put on a totally awesome performance. It's fun and clever the whole way through, and I loved it, and everyone I know loves it as well. Anyway, in the movie, the Louvre Hippodrome is where Newman's character lays his head with his girlfriend, Eileen Brennan, or Billy, in the film. They've definitely done some Hollywood magic to change the surroundings of the Hippodrome as it appears, to make it look more like Chicago, where it's supposed to be taking place. But it still appears in the film, and you even see the inside of the carousel in a few shots as well. We're going to end out here with probably the most recognized instance of the Santa Monica Pier in a feature film. That's Forrest Gump. When Forrest takes off running, he eventually reaches the Pacific Ocean. The fishing and boating sign at the top of the Santa Monica Pier is prominently featured as he runs underneath it and on to the end of the pier. And he takes a moment to reflect at the end of the boardwalk as well and look out onto the beautiful Malibu coast. The Santa Monica Pier is also the historic end of Route 66, so it is fitting that Forrest would end his journey west here. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. This has been Paul with Surf City Tours, and I'll see you soon.